Guys, hopefully you already watched the videos that were on the agenda for today. Just really quickly, there's a video about this thing called the USGS Benchmark Glacier Program, and there's another video about time-lapse imagery taken from satellites over time. Both excellent videos, especially this time-lapse video. It's really, really cool. Anyway, today you're going to be doing a lab called this Benchmark Glacier Lab, and this is taken from data from this thing called the Glaciers and Climate Project that is put out by the United States Geological Survey. Their benchmark glacier program has been going on since the 1950s, and that is really awesome because we don't have a lot of data over a long period of time regarding the climate, and climate research is really, really critical for understanding what's going to happen in the future, and so this is a really cool program. Anyway, you watched how they do it, and you saw that there's multiple different glaciers that they're measuring. The map over here on the screen, Wolverine, Gulkana, South Cascade, those are the ones that we're going to be focusing on. Lemon Creek and Sperry, those are more recent ones. They don't have as much data on those as much as these other three. Okay, so we're going to be looking at those three in particular. So open up the lab, make a copy of it. You'll see it right on the agenda right there. Make a copy here. And what you'll get is this this document right here. Hold on, I'm going to go back up to the top here. Okay, so this is your lab right here. And you'll see on the map, Gulkana, Wolverine, and South Cascade, where they're located. You'll see what they look like, a few pictures of them. And then down below, there's this data. Now, this is a little bit complicated. I'm not going to get into all the science behind what they're measuring here. Ablation and accumulation is essentially what they're looking at. Accumulation is how much snowfall is on the glacier, at the top of the glacier. And ablation is how much melting is taking place. And essentially what we get as a result of those two things is this number, which is essentially the thickness of the glacier in meters of water equivalent. Don't really worry too much about what that means. Essentially, it is, how thick is the glacier? How much water does the glacier represent? Okay, we'll keep it simple like that. Now, as you can see, it's been happening since the 1950s, 1960s. South Cascade was the first one really to be measured, and you can see a few extra years of data there, and then the other two a few years later in the 60s, and it goes all the way to 2014. There's more recent data than that, but I have it up until 2014 here. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do is make a graph out of this thing, and I'm guessing that you really haven't had a lot of experience with making graphs. So what you should do is just highlight the entire table, everything all the way down to the bottom, 2014, okay? And I'm just going to say copy this data, or you can say Control-C, that works. Then what you want to do is you want to open up a Google spreadsheet. You can either do it on Excel or you can do it on Google Spreadsheets. It works pretty well. If you look at your Google main page, you can go to Sheets, okay, or you can type in Sheets, Google Sheets, and this will pop up. And you're going to want to open up a blank, unedited sheet, okay? So you get this. Then what you're going to do is once this opens, you're going to you're going to paste all that data that you copied earlier. So I'm just going to right click, hit paste, and there is all the data. You can say Control V as well. Now, so this is all the data embedded in our spreadsheet. Next thing you want to do is just highlight just the data. I'm highlighting it all over again. And then you go up to where it says Insert, and it says Chart. So you click on Chart, and this is pretty awesome because this just did what would have taken you about, 45 minutes to do and took you about 5 seconds. So this is nice. I was going to make you guys make this graph. I would have made you make this graph, but since we're doing this digitally, it's a lot easier to just do it right here on Google Spreadsheets. Anyway, there are a few things that we need to change about this graph because it's missing one major thing, and that is a label on the y-axis. Now, in order to do that, you can click over here. This should still be open. If it's not, click on these three dots right here and say Edit Chart. So it says right here, Customize. So I'm going to click on Customize. And then down here it says Chart and Axis Titles. I'm clicking on that. The chart title is fine. This is the benchmark. We can call it, how about with this? We'll change it to this. Benchmark, whoops, highlight everything. Benchmark Glacier. Okay. And that's from 1958 through 2014. Okay, so we'll call that, that'll be our title. The other thing we want to change, and you can see there's a drop-down list here, is the vertical axis title, because there isn't anything yet. Now, you might remember that what we're measuring is the thickness of the glacier, so we'll call it glacier thickness, and the units are meters of water equivalent, so m.w.e, okay? And again, don't worry about what that actually means, at least not too much. All right. Now, the other thing I'd like to clean up about this are these colors. These colors are fine. We could use those colors. But I just wanted to look at the series here. The Wolverine Glacier actually has a standardized color for it, according to the USGS program. And so if you look at this map right here, the Wolverine Glacier is blue. It's this picture right here. All these letters just represent different places where they were taking measurements. So that's the shape of the glacier. Let's change, I'm going to go back to this document here. Let's change Wolverine Glacier to a blue color, and I'm just going to pick that one. Okay. This red one, the Gulkana Glacier, I'm clicking on the data, and then I'm clicking on the color. The Gulkana Glacier, if you remember from the picture, Gulkana is purple, and that's that one up here. So I'm just going to change my color to purple. And then the South Cascade Glacier is, you can kind of see this kind of orangey yellow color. So I'm just going to change its color to that orangey yellow color. Okay, that way it matches up with the actual USGS data. Okay, and that's a pretty much completed graph. I will show you that, in this series, if you look down here where it says trend line, this will just show you what they're all doing. Okay, you can see what the South Cascade Glacier, I don't think we really need a trend line, because I think you can really see the trend over the last 50 plus years here of data. You can see where it started and how it's been losing thickness. It's getting thinner. It's losing mass, okay, which should tell you something, and you're going to answer those questions in your data. Now, next thing is that you're going to have to take this graph and put it into your lab. So click on the three dots right here, go to Copy Chart, and then go back to your lab, and right where it says Insert Graph here, you're going to insert the graph there. So I'm going to hit Control-V, or you can hit Paste if you want to, like that. It says Link to Spreadsheet. You don't need to. You can just hit Paste Unlinked. That's fine. And you're going to get a graph that looks like this, okay, right on your lab. Okay, so that's perfect. That's what I want. This would be nice if it was a little bit bigger. I guess you could make it bigger if you want to, but this is fine. That's what I want to see. Okay, so again, clean up the graph and then insert it into your document. Last thing is you're going to answer these questions. Okay, there are 6 questions here. I'd like sentences. For this first one, you can always look at the map on the first page. Okay, it kind of shows you where they're located. You saw the map here as well, where they're located. All right, so just so you're aware, there are some questions regarding location. There's some questions about accumulation versus ablation. Ablation is a fancy word for melting. And that's pretty much it. And then you're going to turn this thing in on MyCBA. Any questions? Don't hesitate to ask. Hope you guys are doing all right.